looks okay. I don't see anything burnt or anything. I looked around. The only thing I found, these pieces in the radio, and that was it. Sticker looks okay. The radio's like showing like number 4. I don't know what it is. It could have been a defect inside. These are the pieces I found on the backside of the radio. These 2 pieces I found. They're not MOSFET. This is actually a bad solder joint. See? That's the only thing I found out of there. Not on the top. This was on the backside of the radio, laying on something. But I didn't see anything came from a MOSFET. Either way, I'll show you in a second. My radio still looks quite the same. And I don't see any burnout caps or nothing like that. It was like black smoke came out of the radio. It could have been the power supply. But when I transmit on 38, it shows like a number 4. And it showed a number 1 earlier today, but before that it had number 0. Maybe it was actually heat temperature in the weather. Or do they do that? They don't look like anything burnt. We're going to hook it up later and check it out again. Yeah, I took that. I found it on the back of the radio. It was laying on one of those silver things. It could have caused that. I don't know why the radio will smoke up. But I hope Bob's will do it for free. And I think he should do all his radios for free for factory warranty. It doesn't matter if you do the 11 meter mod and all that. As long as you don't damage any of the components in the radio, we're good. But I think he should do all his radios free. I think they do for factory radios for free. And believe me, this radio I have not touched for anything for a while except the 11 meter mod I did. And never did anything replace caps or nothing like that. What is the worst? What's the number 1 things on Quad5 radios that have most problems? Think about it. So looking quite good, but I don't know why it's transmitted on number 4. It could have been one of these caps went bad or something went wrong. So I'm going to show you on the back side in a minute. Checking it all out. This is where that burnt piece was right up this area, right here. It was laying right on this thing. That was it. And that's the only thing I found so far. And one of these small pieces were right over here. This area on here. It was usually right here. See? That's where I found out, right over this area. It doesn't look like it was hard rated high that was held off like that. And I saw the smoke came out of there today, but it was a little black smoke. Hasn't anyone done to their Quad 5s? I was in hot weather today, but look at these solder joints. You can tell they're very, what they did. They definitely need to be soldered or something, but I hope these are still good shape. This one's actually shiny right there. But this is like, Bob needs to check his CROs before he does anything he takes them out to the, sells them either way, but I think he should check all his radios to look at them to make sure everything's good. You know what I mean? Keep it base stock. Mine's a basic stock. Mine's not the new edition he's got. Mine's actually the one back in January 2023 this year. Everything looks good, but I don't know. I don't know why he's appearing that number 4 in the thing. In this radio, I bought it back 6.5 months ago. I don't see anything burnt, anything inside. Maybe something went wrong with these caps. You can't tell by anything in these things. Only when I got this radio to do skip and do all the radios. Maybe it did something in temperature factor when it was hot today. It was like 90 to 80 degrees. That it shouldn't affect it, but the grills were still cool in the weather, and they only warmed up a little bit. They had a little bit warm heat sometimes when you do these. When you do like when the car, it actually heated up more of these, but out there it did actually have less heat when it does. These usually have less heat when it does, and this is just basic stock. So everything looks good, but I might have to send Oz if he wants to check it out, or anybody who wants to check this out, let me know. I think Ground Control will be the guy who will check it out. I think Bob's should check it out because it's his type radios, he designed them. And what is the number 1 things on Quad 5 is the worst thing happened? This is like the version he has, and there's a lot of different versions of Quad 5s. Everything looks okay, I don't know. You can't tell by looking at this stuff the way it looks like. But I think it should do like people who buy radios should be done by warranties all for free. because that's what I'm seeing. Especially from Bob's, because I bought it from the original guy. Because other TV shops were all sold out. I never had the problem with this radio for 6 months, except what happened today. I was on skip just talking with a basic stock mic and removing pin 4, not in the radio, in the adapter I made a while back. And it's not making a squeal anymore, and I don't know what happened at that point. Maybe that's the way the radio does that. But it was doing really good today. So it doesn't look like anything damaged or anything like that. It looks everything quite good. But we'll have to have them check it out. I don't know, but we'll see if that number 4 appears. If it appears, then we know there's something wrong with it. This little black thing, I don't know, that's normal. It sits up there on top of this area. See it right there? It was like that before. That area right there. This part right here. I don't know if that's normal in the radio. That this was like that when I came with the radio. There's like some kind of black mark right there. There it is right there. Something black marked there. I don't know what that is. I don't think a Mossett blue or something. But this is where I found the piece all the way out here. It was over here. This dark piece, it could have been a bad solder joint. Probably was not solder right or something, I don't know. Sometimes solder joints go bad on these radios, or sometimes they don't. But what is this mark? Maybe he put this in, or someone did. I'm trying to figure out. It was like this with the radio. But I don't think solders heat up that hot in that weather. No, they don't. So we'll have to check it out when we get time. We'll see what it does. We'll see if that number 4 appears. If it does, then I'll let you guys know. But in the video, it didn't appear number 4. It actually appeared number 1. And usually that's normal. It's actually temper factors. Depends on the type. It's pretty good. So I'll catch you later and put this thing back together and be okay. The only way how it did it, you just use to clarify when you adjust this. It does that when it puts that number 4 crap on it. Sometimes it does it when you go to number 4. It does 0. That can mess you up. If that here's that number 4 again, just go back to your clarifier. Be okay. No numbers. See? Everything's good. But I hope we don't have that black smoke again. We did. I don't know what happened. But that could have fixed it. I don't know. They said the radio was working. At least when I know, like, we'll try again, see what happens. I'm very worried, but so number 4, so everything's fine. It could have been some little smoke that happened, but it doesn't matter. Wagon Master told me this radio will work for many years to come. We always have the guy ground control. We can get him out there, and we can get him to join our UDX club. Would be nice, because we should give him a UDX 204. That'd be awesome. So I just want to get this video out here. So everything's working fine. There's nothing on this thing problem, but as long as it's working, it's okay. But it sounds kind of different on my short radio. But when I put my Cobra 139 today, just left it disconnected, it's usually fixing. If I was a clarifier, was offset bounce. But I don't know what happened when black smoke came out today, or I smelled something. It could have been the heat sink, or not the. I don't think it was the MOSFETs. MOSFETs don't put out black smoke. It could have been the radio is not used to it. It could have been overheated. We'll have to see that later what happens. But it's only been 6 months I bought the radio, so everything's looking good. So we're looking great. So that usually, if that happens again, if you guys get the number 4 thing, just use the clarifier to go up and down, and usually it will fix it. It could have been the clarifier when it did it, and it reset itself automatically. So the problem with that, if it appears that number 4 thing, it's usually your clarifier, and that usually happens. See. Could have been during the heat wave today, because I'm going to run this radio on cold weather type mode. But the heat is okay. It shouldn't affect it that much. So that's pretty fine. It's got SWR protection. But we got to get this like a 6 months checkup. Somebody can look at this radio and be okay. But has it happened to you guys on Quad 5s? But and it shouldn't have a problem with the stock version. But everything's looking good. So as long as it works. The trucker told me it was transmitting working fine. But we have to have someone out there who has a Quad 5 department out there in our area, like for our UDX members. We need to make sure everybody has their Quad 5s pretty good. And I think anybody who's a UDX member, I think everybody should have their repairs done for free, no matter what it is. Even including military vets out there too. So this is Foxman 362 World Radio. Just wanted to check out how everything's okay. The number 4 disappeared because when I moved the clarifier, that's what it was, and everything's okay. We'll have to check what happens. I don't want to send this thing to Bob to see everything checked out, but I looked inside of it. I don't see any burnout capacitors or anything like that, except there was a bad solder joint that fell off a piece somewhere. But I looked on the top. Everything looks okay. It was in the radio when it laid like that. When I opened it up down there and I saw it laying on the side. Could have been a bad solder joint, or it could have been a capacitor that went bad. But I don't know if you guys had a Quad 5 smoked up before, but I was in a lot of heat weather today in a cool shade. Shouldn't have had affecting me at all. So it should be fine right now. It should be able to get skip. The guy in St. Thomas heard me today, and even the guy on channel 19 heard me several times today. So I was checking that everything's okay. It's got transmission, everything's good, but you don't hear me squealing the microphone. Audio. See, it's still working. Good. Audio. See? Audio. But we'll have to see what happens. But I think we could get a checkup by Bob's or something like that. I don't know. We got ground control 204. He knows how to get these radios working. He's the only guy out there on YouTube you should talk to. That guy used to work in the military a long time ago. He was in the military service, I think. But ground control is a guy who knows about the strikers and things. But he'd be our best bet to check out these things pretty good. We didn't get him a UDX sticker to him, or old radio night to him. And I don't know, but what happens if Bob's goes out of business someday? Think about that, guys. Think about what would happen. He still has a CB shop, but what happens if he went out of business or something, and he still sells radios? Think about that future prediction time. We have to have our Quad 5s know how to make them work right. People need to learn how to repair them on their own. We need to, the only thing most common is probably be the capacitors. That's what we need to learn about, and MOSFETs. We need to know about the MOSFETs about this radio and capacitors. The server mounts probably won't have no problems. But I think ground control will be our best guy out there for the Quad 5s. I know you got to be patient with the guy. He'd be quite good. And CB Truck Sales out there is another guy you check out. But anybody who has a problem with their Quad 5s, I think it should be all factory warranty for free. And that's what I'm saying. And I still have the original receipts. It doesn't matter because a lot of people buy his radios, and I think that's what I'm saying. So we'll see what happens in the next video. We'll get a chance to do a skip sometime when we get time. But when I get that big antenna, when I get a chance. So I got it fixed so everything's good. The guy told me he was working on the radio. That's why I had to check the truckers, because to make sure my radio's working. So it could have been something smoked up in the radio. Could have been, I don't know why black smoke come out of the radio, but I didn't see anything burnt inside the radio. Nothing burnt at all. I was checking. Could have been my power supply, or it could have been smelling something outside. I don't know. But it could have been like the capacitor was heating up or something like that. But when I said I was smelling something coming out of it, I didn't see any black smoke out when I see it in the video, but I saw a little black smoke came out somewhere. But it could have been inside this radio. But if it has happened to you guys on Quad 5s, let me know. Especially Jed out there too. Anybody who has one. But Bob should check these Quad 5s out. What is the most common they have this? And I think that he should do a checkup on all these radios to make sure everything's good. He should do it all for free, no matter what. And still, if you have your original receipt, that's the proof of purchase, and usually you will do it all for free. Who knows? And or you guys can make the upgrade to what he has on the limited edition. I don't know if you could do the upgrade to the radio if it was stock with the one he sells to the one on the site right now. I think he probably will do that. So yeah, Bob should actually check out our all Quad 5 videos and check it all out and make some Quad 5 posters for our radios. It'd be quite cool. So this is Foxman 362 World Radio. Have a great evening. We'll see what happens. And I was just make sure everything's okay. So the number 4 is gone, so you had to move the clarifier. It should be moving. If it's got modulation, it should be working. It probably was off clarifier when it did that on that radio, but on my Cobra 139, it heard it pretty quite fine when I just left it disconnected with no antenna on it. So I had to check that out today. So we'll check this out when we get time. But I think it should be working on the skip good, but hope it doesn't smoke up again. But it should be working fine. But the MOSFETs don't look like they were burnt or anything. I checked them and looked around. I didn't see anything burnt on anything. Only except there was a bad solder joint fell off from somewhere. It could have been some on the heat sinks above, but I found a piece of bad solder joint. Probably was for him to do all this stuff, because I don't know if he puts these radios together or the factories do it. So this is Foxman 362 World Radio. We'll do another video sometime soon, and hope we get that big antenna I want to get during next month. Would it be great? And make it run a little better. So I'll catch you later, and I will bring us in some videos sometime soon. Just wanted to do a quick update on this and check it all out. So I checked the radio out. So this thing's not transmitting to number 4, and that's what I wanted. It's usually your clarifier when you move it around and you put it back. A lot of times it works that way. So catch you later, and this is UDX 362 waving it out there. And I'll catch you later. We'll bring out some more videos soon on this one.